The happiest time of my life.
happiest를 다.
It was a good time. You said it. If it's a 명이다.
I was really stressful.
comment 주세요. like 좋아해 주세요. subscribe 주세요.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
hello.
얼마 전에 제가 커뮤니티로 장거리 연애 경험에 관해서 질문을 받는다고 글을 올렸었잖아요. 그래서 하나하나 댓글을 달아주신 거를 보고 장거리 연애 팁들을 한번 준비해봤어요. 요즘 서로 생이별을 하고 있는 커플이 되게 많을 것 같아서 특별히 준비해본 거고 저희 경험담을 바탕으로 잘 이겨내셨으면 좋겠어요. 그래서 그리고 그 질문 중에서 부모님한테 어떻게 국제 연애를 한다고 말씀을 드렸냐, 남자친구 소개를 어떻게 해줬냐, 캐나다를 어떻게 가게 됐는지 그런 과정들에 대해서 많이 여쭤봐 주셨어요. 그 많은 주제들을 다 말씀드리기에는 정말 1박 2일도 부족해가지고 이거는 주제별로 정리해서 한번 영상을 만들어 보겠습니다.
Alright.
Okay. Are you ready to talk about our long distance?
The happiest time of my life.
그래서 처음
In English.
before we share our experience and tips, we're gonna introduce briefly about how did we get through the long distance, when did we start.
After how long of dating did we do long distance?
Yeah.
Based on questions that you guys posted, we're gonna give a general idea of our story. If you haven't watched the video about how we met, then you can kind of see that, but how we started, which is right here.
존나 카리스마 있어.
We dated for just under a year.
Yeah.
A bit under a year.
Yeah, and then
We started dating in September.
September.
And then I left the following August, so just almost a year.
Yeah, but technically you left June for
Yeah, I guess,
Southeast
yeah.
Asia trip,
Yeah.
and then you came back to Korea,
Yeah.
and then you left
I left
completely
Back to Canada.
on August.
Yeah. So we had those months, and then Jubi came to visit me at the end of September, beginning of October, and then so it wasn't that long. It was like a month and a bit maybe that we didn't see each other. But then after she left, that was the long one for us. We had 8 months of being apart, not seeing each other physically at all, not even visiting.
Yeah.
It's only video.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna answer the questions about how we did long distance pretty much for 10 months.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
The end.
What are the questions? How did you enjoy yourself? Did you enjoy freedom?
Okay, we have a bunch of questions for us. So, 주비님, 롱디 할 때 주로 연락은 어떻게 하셨어요? We basically used just Kakao. Also, we did video talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost every day, right?
Pretty much daily, almost. Yeah.
롱디 활동안 어떠셨는지 궁금해요. 견딜만 하셨나요? Was it bearable?
It was so good. Do you want to start?
Was it bearable? It was really hard at the beginning, but it got better and better, and I forgot him. Obviously at the beginning it was the hardest thing because I had no idea when will we meet each other again, how are we gonna get through it, and I thought I'm not the person who were good at long distance relationship. Remember when I was visiting Canada? Remember the last day?
No.
I cried so hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep because I thought it might be the last thing for us. I was so pessimistic when we had to part, but when I saw Noi's face, he didn't cry. He was like so indifferent.
I'm not indifferent. I'm just hopeful.
Yeah.
Like obviously it was very sad the last day, but I was hopeful. I didn't think like, oh, this might be the last time.
No, like me neither, but
No,
like,
you said it. No, me neither.
Like we couldn't see any further. Like,
yeah.
The exact plan for our relationship.
Yeah.
And I was working in Korea and I didn't know what to do with that, and yeah. But we started to be more specific. We obviously started to talk for our future of how we can finish our long distance relationship as soon as possible. And yeah, and during that process we became more hopeful, and we could picture what would be happen.
Yeah, I think one of the key things is to really always strive to do something for when you're meeting next. Whether it's like just visiting the other person or planning to like move to their country, always have something you're working on, because then if you don't know when you're going and you don't know what you're doing, you're both stuck in limbo, it's called, then that's when things can get very, tiring and like loose and stressful, and that's when things start to maybe fall apart. As long as you have something and you actually care for the person, that should be enough to keep you going.
Yeah, and at least like talk to each other in a bright side.
Well, no, you can be realistic.
No, like let's say this situation, because of the corona, like every flights are being cancelled. Each other, they both don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, support each other.
Yeah. If one of them gets like so pessimistic, frustrated, and start to negatively like, oh, we're screwed up, like we're not gonna meet each other again, like that.
Then just agree. I mean,
anyway, that's my side, and you can talk about your side. Was it bearable?
Okay. Like sometimes you wake up and it seems fine. Sometimes you wake up and you're like not, you're more down. But I think, let's say for me, it also depends on the person. Like for me, one of the harder times where it was less bearable is when I went out with friends, and a lot of my closer friends are couples. So going out with friends here, a lot of them are in couples, and then I'm in a relationship, but they're all with other people, and then I can't even go to get other girls. Yeah, no, but it was nice because you see all of them and they're all together, and then you're like, they're having fun and you wanted to, but you can't, and especially when you don't know when you'll be able to do that next, that makes it hard. When you're experiencing the thing that you like to do, that's when it's the most difficult, for me at least.
Yeah, I agree.
Like for Jubi, it was eating. Every time she ate.
But anyway, we're
Don't do that. If you notice that, the other person isn't as willing to try to get together, even if you're coming to them but they're not willing to help you as much or something like that, then it's a sign that you gotta have a talk with them, like a serious talk, to see if it's really worth it to give yourself that heartache.
Yeah.
It might hurt if you need to break up, but it's better than holding on to something that's not there.
True. That's a very good point. I believe that the relationship, it's like, let's say it's like ice skating with holding hands.
Okay.
But then if you feel like you miss hands while you are holding, if you feel like the person is the one who would go away, unless you keep holding it, then it's not worth to continue.
So why you keep holding me? Let me go.
So it's like a bit cheesy, but the one thing just only one thing that I appreciated with Noi is that he's the person who makes me feel like if I get tired, if I show I'm tired of it, I'm frustrated, or let him go like without holding hands, then he's the person who will come back or
And grab her face.
to not go away. I don't know how to express in English.
I think that's okay.
Are you touched? No! Yeah.
Okay, another one we got people asking. There were people asking about like, oh, I'm not a long distance person. I'm not a long distance person.
Yeah.
Well, neither are we really.
So
it's funny because we both know that we're not long distance people, and we said that to each other. And it got more difficult when it was getting closer to my time to leave Korea. Because at that point, obviously, we didn't know anything about the future, what's going to happen. It was tough because we had a lot of talks, like what should we do, right? Like how should we handle it? Like, and you have thoughts in your head, like if you're really not a long distance person, like is it worth it? Or should you keep going? Should you try? And it's not worth it, I'll tell you. No, I'm kidding. It's hard. Like even it doesn't matter if being not a long distance person. Like if you care about the person enough and they care about you enough, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing long distance person or not. And if it does feel like it, and it will at times.
So no. You guys can feel like that. Like, oh, I'm not a long distance person, so I might not try. But try and just decide if you're long distance person or not. In my opinion, the definition of long distance person really depends on the other person, the boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah, it's a two-way. It's like dancing, right? There's two people when you're dancing together. It can't be just one person dancing.
Yeah,
or one person just slugging around.
Noi actually thought like it would be better to just break up before we have more sad ending. Like breaking up when we were actually physically apart. He thought it might be better to break up like in a good way.
In
just
person.
A bullshit. So I got really mad and sad. Yeah, so my opinion was like, why aren't you at least try to keep up? Why don't you willing to try long distance first and then think about it?
And part of my reasoning was because I'm not a long distance person and I don't believe in it, right? Now it's part of it, right? But then like for most times, you know, it'll be like, okay, you do it, you break up and nothing happens. But then like you realize once you break up with someone, it gives a bit more perspective. You're gonna be sad probably in most ways, but there's a sad where you're gonna get over them, and there's a sad where like, okay, maybe it doesn't feel right. And for Jubi, it was the right thing to do, but for some reason.
Yeah, so we got back together and then we decided to try long distance.
Yeah, worst case, you know, you try. If it doesn't work, at least you know you tried. You know, it's better to live with failure than doubt.
Exactly. Honestly, I feel really proud that we made it.
We did it. 10 months. It was hard.
Yeah.
It's not. Even if you care a lot about someone, it's not easy. Sometimes it'll be hard in the relationship. Sometimes it'll just be hard on you yourself. Like it's different type of strains. But you know, if it's right, if it's a Myeongida, then it'll be worth it by the end. I'm just waiting for it to be worth it. Waiting for it.
We got a good amount of questions about risky times.
Like if we're about to break up during.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Did we?
I don't think we had, like we've had kind of arguments, but not really about the relationship.
What was about?
It was just about how to get like trying different, sometimes when you try something, especially when you want to move to a country,
yeah,
you're gonna get hit with roadblocks. Like you want to try to get there, get a visa this way and it's gonna get rejected, or do this and it's just that you don't get a reply. And it gets tiring because, like Juby can explain, right? Because on my end, she was doing all the applying, right? 'Cause I couldn't do anything. I was just supporting her and comforting her and just preparing everything I can for her here while she's, applying online, doing the papers.
Yeah, so it was really hard time dealing with how to get here, because like for international couple, the visa thing is the most, like one of the most biggest concern or like hurdle for either one in order to get back for a long period, right? So for me, I was planning to apply working holiday visa, but then it just like, it's based on lottery, as you guys know. I was really stressful and
she was stressed out. So when we had
like, I literally stressed out like every time I talked to Noi, like in face talk. Like there was a time I cried so much, like literally every time. Like it was so stressful, and like not only just leaving the country itself, but also like the visa thing is not working. If I made a decision that I'm gonna leave the country, then my visa is not working, or vice versa.
Yeah, so what that does is it can really demotivate you to go to the country, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the closest we got to risky, like trying to think like, oh, like is Juby gonna decide not to do this? Sometimes you have thoughts like that, right? Is she gonna like think it's too much and it's not gonna be worth it or something, or we're gonna have to do something else? I think that's the closest we got. We never really had arguments about each other.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna be everyone, right? It's really important just because we also communicate a lot. You gotta have open communication. That's why we don't fight as much. We talk it out from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to wait and then it explodes.
Yeah. I was not that kind of person, but like my made me change a bit.
I made her talk. She wasn't much of a talker and I wasn't much of a texter, but then
Texture.
Texture, my texture. You feel this texture? This is, this material? This is boyfriend material.
Yeah, but I'm really grateful for being supportive to me.
Same.
Whenever.
Now we're gonna answer some questions about keeping in touch during these times.
Keeping in touch. Do you think keeping in touch is important?
No.
But it's really hard, like especially not only the time difference, but also the mentality in terms of keeping in touch. Because in Korea, as you know, we have to share like pretty much everything from when you wake up and open your eyes and then you close your eyes.
Yeah, so we did talk pretty much daily. And like I said, I'm not much of a texter, but I started to become one a bit more for Juby.
Really? Is that what you tried?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is me doing better.
I thought I made my compromise. I was
So
thinking
did I.
that I would.
That's what's compromise. Like... It's two, Juby. I think guys in general text less, and then foreign guys maybe aren't as don't text as much maybe as like in Korean culture perhaps. Depends, right? Depends on the person and their culture too, but there were questions where the guys aren't texting that much. They might not be much of a texter, but just tell them, not in an angry way, but just explain to them maybe, and find a compromise, right? Don't make them do on your schedule, but find a common schedule.
And don't think that guy doesn't like you anymore by seeing him texting.
Yeah, and that's why if you talk to him straight and he likes you, he'll make an effort. Or he'll talk to you. When you talk to him about it, he'll explain to you like why maybe he doesn't like texting or something. At least he'll have something. But if after you talk to him for like you see a few times, it's still not improving, then maybe he's not making an effort for a reason.
Yeah.
Because you're Juby.
Yeah, so Canada and Korea has 13-hour or 14-hour difference. So we didn't message like for a whole day. We just talked when I was waking up. He was
like my evening, your morning, or
No.
your night.
So
in my morning.
when I was waking up, you finished your work around that time.
Yeah.
And when I go to sleep, you are waking up.
We also talk during your lunches sometimes,
Yeah.
which was nighttime for me. Like before I sleep and your lunchtime at work.
The rest of it, like just an hour or two in the morning and an hour or two before you go to bed was texting.
Yeah.
So it's pretty short time.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, we see how people also saying like, did you not run out of things to talk about? Like, or don't you get bored in conversation? That's part of the reason. Like, you don't have to talk to each other every minute of every day. You set up to talk maybe once every day or at least once every 2 days via like video call or at least like an audio call. And then texting, yeah, you can do a few like during the day, but you don't need to text really throughout the whole day.
No, we can't.
Like you can't, right? With the time difference, depends on the time difference. People have different time difference.
Yeah.
But like even when you're both awake, you don't need to text the whole time unless you only have like 3 hours where you're both awake at the same time for some reason.
Yeah. And I felt like it's better than like texting the whole time because I could concentrate on my thing fully when I was working or like let's say meet friends after work or something. When getting back home, I can talk to him because he's awake.
And when you're doing a call, you don't have to talk for 2 hours every time. Even just, do like a half-hour talk, Even that's fine, What's nice is, it's also nice to build the relationship when you're not talking.
Yeah.
Like, it helps build up the excitement of talking to them again, seeing them again. If you're always talking to them and seeing them, then you have nothing to miss, right?
But one thing when I got upset for something about Noi, I was gonna text like really long and then he's not answering because he's in a sleep or something. That's the thing, it's a bit inconvenient when you do long distance.
And then
You
I
can't
wake up, and then I wake up and I see this huge message about something I didn't even do because it was just in her dream, and I made her angry in her dream, and I'm just waking up and she's angry at me for doing something that I didn't do.
Different gender friends.
Wow.
That's the fun thing.